some cooking and some meal prep and all of that. And I got this. I'm gonna unbox this Gourmet air fryer. Got my first air fryer ever. Thanks, Mom. Got our first ever air fryer here as a special gift from good old Mom. So never had an air fryer before. Can you believe that? I feel like not having an air fryer is like not having a computer for cooking. I haven't even used it yet, and I already know that. So there we go. Let's see. I gotta edit something real quick to get this live stream started. Let's see what we're doing. Where's my lives? Hello. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I guess I can't edit it from here, huh? Clipboard. Oh, I guess I can't edit it from here, huh? We're gonna get started here in just a moment. What are we making? I'll explain that in just a few moments. I'm here in the kitchen with my stuff. I guess I can't do anything. All right, so what's up? Michelle Maybell. All right, so we're gonna start cooking. We got a couple dishes, and I want to give credit to where the dishes are. So one is to the Tasty page on Facebook, and then the other is a Facebook page called Kwok Spots. So KWOKSPOTS. So Kwok Spots, and we're gonna use both of their recipes. But first, we're gonna start with our beef and rice noodle dish. So I've got some pork chilling right there. Let's see, baking soda. So what are we gonna do first? Let's. I got two dishes that we're making, so I don't want to get too overboard, too lost in everything. But first, we gotta prep some beef. Let's do that. Let's prep some beef. Let me adjust this camera real quick. So first, we got to prep some beef here. Let me throw these away. Leave these just now. Paper towel set. Yeah, there we go. All right, so first we got to prep some beef. We're going to do a beef noodle dish. So I also got a new knife, a 7-inch Santoku knife. This is Everyday Living. You know, this is just a standard knife that you get at pretty much any store. Or not any store, but I got it at Vons. But I'm sure you can get this on Amazon. You can get it anywhere. So let's see, the knife is in here. Gonna pull out the knife ever so slightly. I'm just gonna assume that you can start cutting with it right from the beginning. I don't usually wash things when I... Oh, it says wash for use. Okay. So if it says wash for use, I probably need to wash it before I use it. Get some soap going. And here's something else. I have some pork prepping in here. Some pork being defrosted. So pork belly defrosting in this other space right now. So we're gonna be cooking and prepping a pork dish. So that's the goal for tonight. Do some prepping and cooking at the same time. So we'll have dinner for tonight and dinner for another night. Let me see how this pork's doing. All right, it's getting better. This pork is basically a pork belly, slab of pork belly, and I still gonna have to defrost it. So I'm gonna go ahead and defrost. I'm using the good old water method. I'm using the water method to defrost this. So it's almost there. It's almost about ready. Honestly, there is an issue because I'm not defrosting it in a totally wrapped package, which I think that could cause issues in the long run. But you know, you usually want to do it in like a vacuum sealed pack. However, I'm not, so we'll figure that out another time. So let's wash my hands one more time before I start working with the beef. What I first want to do is I want to cut the beef. You know, cutting the beef, and then we're gonna marinate it. And then I think we're gonna cook some onions and some other things. Actually, no, we'll do an unboxing. We're gonna do an unboxing with our air fryer as we let our beef marinate and tenderize for about 10 to 15 minutes or so. That'll give us some time to work our dish. All right, so here we go. Let's cut our beef. Let me find some supplies where I can hold my beef. Okay. Get a nice bowl here, dish here to hold our beef slices. All right, so we have half our beef already cut. So this beef already came cut. So we're just gonna dump that out and just, we just want really thin slices. So we're gonna pull this out and just let it sit. Actually, you know what? I need a bowl, I need an actual bowl because I need to marinate the beef. All right, let's see. I can't just do it in this. Where can I find a bowl? Wow, it's being used. Okay. Maybe something else. Nope. Oh, here we go. I got a glass dish I can use. Perfect. Alright, so scratch this thing. We actually need to use a nice bowl to mix our meat in, because we're going to marinate it and season it so that it's all prepped and ready to go. Now we're going to start cutting our other piece of beef. So this one's like we're going to use a skirt steak meat just to get something nice and tender. It's a little overkill for the dish I want to make as far as the quality of the beef goes, but I don't know. It's nothing wrong with splurging a little, right, in your food. Look at this big old skirt steak here. Big old piece of skirt steak. Yes, that's right. And just let's cut it into 2 slices first. Just nice little slice right there. Ooh, love a sharp knife. Sharp knives are just phenomenal. And let's see. Make sure this camera can face. Let's see. All right, so let's just get a couple of really nice, some nice thin slices here. Honestly, the skirt steak's already pretty thin, so we really only need to cut these into just cut a bunch of them. Cut these down, or cut it with the grain. There's a few pieces that might need to be cut at an angle, but in general, we're just slicing this up. So what are we making? We're making a beef noodle dish, I can't call it a beef chow fun. What it is a beef chow fun, but with not chow fun noodles. Because we got the wrong noodles. So, we're just going to have to make do with alternative rice noodles, which is totally fine. Just can't call it chow fun necessarily, right? Because you got to use really thick noodles if you're going to call it a chow fun, but that's all right. So here we go, cutting our beef now, and we're going to go all the way across, and then once we're done with this, we're going to marinate it. So we're going to do our marinate our beef. Get a nice sharp knife going. Here we go. Let's get our other steak cut up. We have this big box back here, the Gourmet, because I just got an air fryer for the first time. Again, thanks Mom, if you're watching this. I haven't had an air fryer, and she convinced me to finally get one. Because, here's the thing, is I feel like the air fryer, based on what I've been hearing about air fryers, it's like you can't live without an air fryer almost once you start using it. And I just feel like I'm gonna eat so much fried food with an air fryer that I feel like it's dangerous to have in the home. If you want to eat somewhat healthy, You know, an air fryer is just, an air fryer is a fryer, right? There you go. Just getting these slices nice and thin. Getting these slices nice and thin. All right, so I have about 2 pounds of meat in here. So 2 pounds of beef that we're gonna use. We're gonna go ahead and just let it all marinate with some soy sauce and some other flavors. Let's let that go. Do that right there. Cut this last little piece right here. Okay. Now what do we want to do? Oh, let me see. Check on this pork. I don't like the fact that this pork is in water. So I'm trying to not let the water come to. I'll let it sit for a little bit longer in this water. Let it defrost. We're gonna prep the beef right now. Let's wash my hands again because I just touched pork. I wash my hands quite often when switching between, especially meat to veggies, because I don't use gloves, so just cooking for myself. Oh yeah, it looks like we got some chat going. Almost forgot. Aga G calling Aga. Yeah, sharp knives make such a difference. Well, let's see. Not Miller. What's up, Miller? What's up, not Miller? Okay. So what are we gonna do in here? I think I'm gonna throw some cornstarch. Let's do some cornstarch here. I'm gonna start to prep the beef. So throw some cornstarch down. Throw some cornstarch into here. Let me listen to this recipe real quick. So I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna follow the recipe. So she's got the noodles, she's got the beef. It's cut nice and thin, nice thin pieces. Marinate it. So you want to marinate it. All right. So I'm gonna use some oil and stuff to marinate it. Now it says that you should marinate it with baking soda. I'm using cornstarch instead, and I'm gonna use some sesame oil, pepper, salt, pepper, and I'm just guessing at the amounts. I don't have like a. I don't usually measure things out, which I guess that could be a problem sometimes. But here we go. What am I cooking right now? I'm prepping a beef dish, so beef chow fun, but I can't really call it chow fun because I don't have the right noodles. However, we're gonna go ahead and just let it be what it's gonna be. So beef with rice noodles, but not wide rice noodles, just regular rice noodles. Let's see, we got this, a little bit of oyster sauce. We got a huge tub of soy sauce here. Always need a nice big tub of soy sauce. And some oyster sauce. Let's do that. Okay. Let's actually try to stir this with a spoon. Usually I try to marinate with my hands, but it's so much easier. And I don't like to scratch the beef and stuff, but for the sake of video. You know, maybe I got to be more civilized. You know what? Forget it. If I was gonna name my channel, I would call it the Uncivil Cook. What type of soy sauce is it? The soy sauce is like just regular soy sauce. We got oyster sauce, soy sauce, some potato starch in here, and basically I'm going to let it mix. Let it mix. And let all this mix, and let it sit for about 15 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 20 minutes. And the potato starch is supposed to help it marinate. That's like a Chinese secret, potato starch. Or like baking soda, or I think even cornstarch. But I've discovered how using potato starch is actually quite helpful. All right, there we go. So we're just gonna let that sit for a few minutes. That's it right here before we start cooking it. Now, let's do our next steps here. I'm gonna pop open our Gourmet air fryer. I'm not gonna use it tonight, but I just want to do a unboxing here because unboxings are always fun. So let's push this over to the side. We're going to unbox our Gourmet air fryer right now. So let's see. Let me grab keys to unravel this box here. All right, let's do this. Jam this in here so that we can. So this is an air fryer by a company named Gourmet. Let's take a look at it. I have no idea how to use an air fryer. Never touched one my entire life. It's my first time. Special gift from the person who gave me birth for the holidays. So let's go like this. All right. Oh, there's another box in here. So let's pop open this box. So you got a box within a box. Brilliant. All right, so the first box, look at that. Nice box, huh? So boxes on boxes. Let's push this a little back. Got our Gourmet air fryer, Gourmia. It's our Gourmet air fryer. Gonna put it to work tomorrow. We're actually gonna do some cooking tomorrow, the day after. But let's see. It's got the Fry Force 360 technology, the future of air frying. Powerful circulation, healthy eating. Healthy eating, little to no oil, that's good. Perfect crisp, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to actually being able to easily cook fried food. 12 one-touch cooking functions, easy set control, spacious capacity, sleek style. All right, we get the idea, right? It's a great air fryer. That's the idea. So we're gonna get a great air fryer here. 7 quarts. So this is a 7 quart. In case anybody is curious, like at different sizes. Good. I always have my potato starch ready. Yep. Yeah, I've never had an air fryer, and I just hope that I don't get addicted to fried food because we'll see. I probably will. I'm already addicted to fried food. Who doesn't love good fried food? All right. So there's a couple pieces. Let's start pulling out the pieces one by one. I'm gonna drop this on the floor. We're just going to start pulling out pieces one by one. So starting with, I guess this is a device that you stick inside. There's a little booklet right here. I'm going to stick this over to the side right here. Comes in some styrofoam, of course. Can't forget the styrofoam when you're packing things. All right, here we go. Let's see, I have a slot back there. So let's take a look at this Gourmet air fryer, right? The Gourmet air fryer. Gourmet. Like the name. That's a very good name. All right, so let's see. It's got the power cables in the back. Of course, it needs power, right? It doesn't work on gas. And I'm gonna take all the plastic off. Don't need that anymore. Unless it's broken. But I hope that's not broken. I wonder if I should leave this on. What do y'all do? Do y'all leave the plastic on like this? What am I going to tell? When am I going to say things? Let's see. Stuff to be fried food isn't healthy. Veggies, etc. So, what do y'all usually leave the plastic on? These little plastic wrap things on, or what? Who's trolling here? AG, the troll. We've got our troll of the day. Welcome. Welcome. Hope you find as much joy out of trolling as you do out of your life. Probably not. You probably don't. But if you did, so let's see. I don't even know how to do this. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but let's see what's going on here. I think that there's like buttons here. There's a convection thing in the back. Is there like a button here or what? There's tape. Okay. And I guess what you do is you just kind of throw this. Just throw this in here, right? Look at that. All right, so it's just a big tub. I have no idea how this is going to work. But I guess you just toss that down here. Huh. It's not fitting. Why isn't it fitting? There we go. All right, there we go. So we got a little convection device right here. And there we go. How's it look? It looks great. It's a very elegant looking thing. It's plastic and I guess other types of metal or whatever. Pull that in and out. All right, well, I'm not going to demo this tonight. We're going to have to save the demo for another night for Gourmet. So stay tuned for that because I got to do some more food prep right now. But this is going to be to fry our pork. Only Nicole, what's up? How you doing? So we're actually going to... Don't leave the plastic on? All right. My bell said don't leave the plastic on. I leave the plastic on in place like my car, or if I get like a new phone, I'll leave the plastic on for a while. But look at that, it's so sleek. Look, it's so sleek. I think this is like the buttons. These are all the buttons, of course. So, you know, we'll do a demo of this tomorrow when we're ready to do our crispy fried pork. But for now, we're going to put this into the corner here. And we'll have to figure out how to organize this because this is a lot of stuff. Let's move this jar. This stuff does not go here. Let's see, what do we do? There's some water back here, so I'll let this chill for now. We'll let this chill for now until the time that we decide to use it, probably tomorrow. Because what happens is I got to prepare pork now, and the pork needs to sit till tomorrow. So let's look at our next recipe before. Let's look at our next recipe. Yeah, we could read the instructions, definitely. Okay, so we're gonna do another recipe now. That recipe is this one by Quack Spots. So Quack Spots teaches how to prepare crispy pork. Oh, no. Let's find the actual cooking video. But it's a multi-step process because you got to go 2 days. You got to go multiple days of marinating the pork.
This is day 4 of being a private ship.
All right, so the first step is really just to prepare the pork, I think, from my understanding. So you got to marinate. You got to slice the pork, put it, and then leave it in the fridge overnight. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Why did he stick it in a microwave though? I don't get it. It looks like he's stuck it in a microwave, but I don't think that's the actual thing. So his actual recipe is on his website, kwokSpots.com, in case anybody is looking for the recipe. So that's quackspots.com, and you just find the crispy pork recipe on his website. You know, credit to him, right? I'm copying his recipe. So let's see, you cut the pork belly, 4 pounds of skin, vertical slits, teaspoon 1 teaspoon salt, let it sit in the fridge. I don't have a wire rack though, but we're gonna figure that out. Let me see, what can I use as a substitute for a wire rack? Hey Kat, do we have that big Kat, you there? What can I substitute for a wire rack? Can I use this? Or if I get this can probably substitute for one thing, but I don't know about the other thing. And I need to know if you put the skin side up overnight. Okay. So a wire rack, skin side up. I hope I do this right. So let's go. Let's actually clean off our knife and everything first. We're gonna dump the water out of here. We're gonna wash this up. We're gonna wash this because I don't want to mix the pork and the beef with one slice. So I prefer to clean up our surfaces. I don't think it's too big of a deal as far as cooking right now because it's gonna cook long anyway, but just in case. Hey Kat, do we have a wire rack? I don't have a wire rack. So what can I use instead of a wire rack? I might just have to use this and then a wire rack. We're gonna fudge it up and make something up. So let's see. What do I got? I gotta mix some seasoning first. So let's do that real quick. So we're gonna mix some seasoning real quick. What was it? Salt, sugar, MSG, white pepper. Salt, sugar, MSG, white pepper. So we got sugar, white pepper. Actually, we know I have another thing of white pepper here. I could probably use. Powder and here we go. We got a few ingredients right now. Let's pull these out. Garlic powder. I don't need right now. All right, we got a white pepper, garlic powder, MSG, Chinese 5-spice, salt, and some sugar. So that's good. I don't usually measure, but I'm gonna measure for this, just so I can get an idea of things. Teaspoon. This is about a teaspoon. I kind of guessed that, right? We can guess what that's like. Right here, half a teaspoon. Let's see. 1 teaspoon. All right, let's use this. Yeah, always read the instructions. I'll read that tomorrow when I'm actually using it. So we'll do that. But let's clean this teaspoon measuring thing off. So I'm gonna do 2442. I wrote this down. Let's look at this. So it is. So what are we trying right now? Basically, I'm kind of we're marinating the meat side of the pork. Traditional prep, how to prep, garlic powder, salt, 2 hours. It's got so many. The one thing about his website, there's way too many ads. Way too many ads. I mean, I get that that's how he makes his money, but so many ads. So 1, 2, sugar, garlic powder, salt. 5-spice, salt, 2 and 2. Let's go iodized salt. Iodized salt, 2 teaspoons. Five-spice, Chinese 5-spice. Here we go. Chinese 5-spice is such a key ingredient in Chinese dishes. I never even discovered until recently. All right, if I get a little bit over, I'm not too upset about it. All right, now we need some sugar. And what was it? What was the teaspoon salt? That's salt. And we need sugar and garlic powder. Garlic powder and sugar. One, 2, 3, 4. Let's throw a little MSG on this. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna use MSG yet. Garlic powder. Ooh, garlic powder smells so dang good. Let's get our sugar. Organic cane sugar is what we're gonna use here. So we need about 4 of these. All right, you know what? I'm going to take one of these chunks and I'm just going to guesstimate that this is about 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, that's about 2, that's about 4. All right, we're just going to let this all be the seasoning. We're going to dump that right there. Okay, so here's the seasoning stuff. Let's go ahead and mix this up real quick. Gotta smush up the little sugar chunks. Mix up the seasoning a bit. And the goal is that you're supposed to let it dry in the fridge overnight. So let me make sure I've got some space in the fridge before I start this. Veggies. This. That is. All right, let's start messing with our pork now. Here we go. We got this huge piece of pork, and we're just gonna cut this in half. Alexa, off. Basically, just gonna cut this in half and then cut some slices. So estimate right there about half. Right, that's about half. Does that look like half, people? That looks like about half. So estimate about half, and let's get a nice clean cut of this pork here. And then we're going to cut some slices, some deeper slices into each one. So 1/2 inch, I think, is the idea. So cut it in half, about a 1/2 inch. There we go, that feels like a 1/2 inch. This feels like a 1/2 inch. This other piece feels like a 1/2 inch. Maybe a 1/2 inch right there. This is about an inch, so maybe about halfway, whatever this knife, halfway in this knife is where we'll go. Does he go horizontally? I can't remember. Just go horizontally or vertically and horizontally. Make vertical slits. Just vertical slits. All right. Trying to do my best to follow these instructions, you know? All right, so we're gonna cut this one down the middle. About a 1/2 inch, there we go. And another slit down the middle. 1/2 inch, there we go. And in case anybody lives in California and they're wondering where I got this meat from, got it from a Chinese grocery store. I don't think you can find this in regular grocery stores. So now we're gonna season the bottom of this, right? We're gonna season about 1/2 and 1/2. So season 1/2 and 1/2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Actually, I think I had too much seasoning, huh? 1, 2. About 1/2 of that, and then 1/2 on this. Way too much seasoning. I don't know what went wrong. I think I didn't really size the meat properly, that's why. Because this is supposed to be for about 8 pounds, I think. But I only have like maybe 1.5 pounds. So, whatever. We're going to let this all get into our meat. Let this just clip into our meat here. Just let it soak and get right into the crevices here. Just get into the crevices, get onto the surface. It's really messy right now. Should have measured better. Should have thought about that, but whatever, we're going. So I'm gonna get some of these pieces and let it sit on top of the pork right there. You know, the funny thing is I need to let this sit down, the face down, which I think all the marination is gonna come right off. So all this seasoning. So whatever's in store for these pork bellies, I don't know. I just hope that it doesn't create too much of a mess. I just want to let the seasoning get in between these crevices here because they need to be between the crevices. All right, let's let it go. Let it sit. Maybe it's not too much. And we're gonna get right after this. We're gonna get back to cooking our main dish here. But let's see. So I don't have a wire screen or wire thing to hang these. So I'm just gonna improvise, and we're gonna use these two objects here. This is a little strainer type thing. So this is like a little strainer. We'll just set it on top of the strainer and hope it doesn't mess up. And we're going to set the other one right on top of this. Set it. All Okay, see, it didn't mess up, so perfect. This is exactly what we want. Let's set the other one right on top of this, and from here we just leave it in the fridge overnight. Is the idea. And if y'all stay tuned, tomorrow, maybe the day after, is the day that we're going to be testing out our pork belly in the fryer. So we're gonna test out our pork belly in the air fryer. So here we go. Put this like this. Supposedly you can leave it uncovered because what you want to do is you want to let it dry. So that's a good thing. If it dries overnight, it's a good thing. You want to leave it for about 1 to 2 days according to Quack Spots. So we're just going to let these sit in the fridge overnight. And now let's get to our original dish, our main dish here. Remove all these supplies. All these supplies here. We're gonna end up eating and cooking everything within the next day or two. I'm gonna need to clean this for veggies, but for now, what I want to do is I want to blanch the beef. So we're gonna take a nice big pot here. We're gonna take a nice pot here. Let me find a good pot for this. Use this pot. Let's clean up this dish. Washing dishes as we go. We have dishwashers, but we don't really use it much. Get that nice and clean. Okay. Don't mess with power cables, alright? That's my Pookie. My baby Pookie. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to blanch, aka heat up our beef with water. I gotta boil it. Briefly. And then prepare it to saute. This is how you make the beef tender. Alright, so let's look over here real quick. Let's look over here real quick. So what are we doing now? I'm going to go back to the previous recipe, and I've got this pot of water boiling, starting to boil. And we're going to move into preparing to actually do the sauteing and stuff. So, letting that heat up over here. I'm going to wash off our knife and cutting board real quick. But in the meantime, you can watch fire burn. Watch a stove heat up. Isn't that exciting? Watching a stove heat up. The best part of the day, right? But that's the great thing about cooking, is you're always doing something. I never really realized that until I actually started cooking. You know, I mean, cooking can be as boring or as interesting as you make it out to be, right? Like, if you cook boring dishes, then you're going to be bored. But if you cook interesting dishes, there's always going to be something to do, really. It also depends on how big your space is, too, right? All right, so real quick, we're gonna go back to our other recipe from Tasty. So it's our recipe from Tasty. So we're gonna go back to our recipe from Tasty. So we need some oil for our beef and stir fry some onions. Oh, you know what? I need to prepare some noodles too. So let's see. How do I do this? What did she say about marinating? Did she even marinate the beef? Probably not. We're just following Tasty. This is from Tasty. Trying to follow the recipe. So gotta have some noodles fresh and ready. So in a moment, after I prep the beef, we're gonna do that. All right, that makes sense. Let this boil. You know what? I should prep some onions. Onions. I already have onions. I've already got onions prepared. This is perfect. This is great. So if you've ever watched any of the previous videos, I pretty much have an entire freezer just filled with onions and scallions ready to go. So I don't even need to worry about that. I'm just going to stick this over here to the side. Stick this here to the side. And let's see, let that sit. What do I need to prepare? I got this. Oh yeah, I need to get some noodles going. So I want to get some noodles going. How do I do that? Do this thing. Alright, so I'm going to prep a second batch of noodles prepared over to the side here. I don't need this right here, so let's get this off. I got tea in here. I like to keep my tea on the stove. That's going to go right here. As you can tell, some of my supplies are a little too big for this setup, but you know, once things start going, I can get rid of some of this stuff. It'll be good. And get our veggies. Let's see. Got our scallions, which are ready to go. Get some of our mushrooms. I'm going to use some mushrooms tonight. Or wash these off. Wash off your mushrooms. And then onions. Got our sprouts, and we should be good. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing okay. Onions, sprouts, all that. Fantastic. Gotta wash. Do I need to wash this? Stir the sprouts, mushrooms, stir fry. This looks like it's probably washed already. No chemicals, no whitening. Perishable. Boil or stir fry before. Yeah, it doesn't say you need to wash them, so I'm just gonna let it be. I do need to wash the mushrooms. Oh, you know what? Can't use these mushrooms. They've gone bad. So I'm just dumping them right away. Instead, we're gonna use some other mushrooms. The white crab mushrooms. So I can throw these on later. It must be cooked, suitable for pan frying, boiling. Alright, we can figure out how to do that. Got our veggies, onions. I don't need to do any more cutting. This is great. This is fantastic. It's just an ideal situation. Wow. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is, it's called blanching. And basically what you do is you put the beef in, and then, you let the beef boil for about 15 seconds. So that helps to make it that helps to prepare it for sauteing. And you know what I want to do now is I want to use some of my garlic confit. So this is something we had prepped from a little while ago. A little bit of garlic confit. And I'm going to take some of this garlic and put it into our garlic confit and put it into our hot pot here. Let's see, what would be a good spoon for this? So she says a generous amount of oil. So we're gonna put a generous amount of oil and garlic. Saute our beef. That's a generous amount of oil, I think. Maybe a little bit more. And we're going to leave that. And then once we're done with this, I can actually move that, and we'll have some more space. But for now, I need to use that for blanching the beef. So how are we going to do this? We're going to throw in some beef and then pull it out with the strainer thing. That's it. So blanch and pull, blanch and pull, blanch and pull. I'm counting to about 20 seconds, and then I'm going to start pulling some of this beef out. 20, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this supposedly helps to keep the beef tender throughout cooking. And I know the only issue is having too much water content. So I'm going to turn off the heat right here. We're cooking a lot, by the way. This is a fairly large portion. This is a lot of meat. Let's go. The goal is definitely not to cook the meat all the way through. It's really just to cook it real quickly. That's the technique. Alright, now we're gonna throw this on hot, throw the power burner on, get it nice and hot. Throw on our fan because I tend to burn stuff. And this is gonna start heating up. I'm gonna wash some of our items in this go. All right, boiled meat, yummy, exactly. Yes, boiled meat. Let me just check if I'm missing, to catch up on some steps here. All right, so get the sprouts, get the oil, get the meat cooking. There you go, saute, get the onions in there. Get the noodles in there. You got to dry them out a little bit, dry out the noodles. Okay, so you want to put the sauce in there later. Gonna let the noodles boil. Let's see, we're gonna do these rice noodles right here. Get them nice and fresh noodles. Oh, here we go. Let's get this started here. Get these nice hot flavors of the beef and garlic and everything. So it does come in handy to have a huge pot or a huge wok. Oh, this is like part wok, part pot. I want to check the ingredients that she pours into here again. It looks like she marinates the beef ahead of time. Which I guess, oh yeah, I guess she does. Sesame oil, cut the veggies. I'm gonna throw the veggies in there in a minute. Yada, etc. Heat it, get it to 1. Onions, noodles, cook the onions with the noodles. Get the sauce, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, some MSG, okay. And then throw the extra veggies on top. Alright, I think I got this. What do y'all think? Do you think I got it or what? Find out in a few minutes. This is a lot of noodles, by the way. Lots and lots of noodles. Pat comes in at the end. She does do a taste test. All right, here we go. Got that right there. Let's get these noodles up, separated. I don't want them to be too hard or too soggy. Which I think if they get too soggy, it's going to be no good. So. Still a little bit too hard. Need some more time to boil. Pretty perfect. All right, you know what? I think it's about time to pull this out. Pull the meat out. It's probably more than 80% done. We'll let this sit to the side for now. Now let's go. Let these noodles simmer for a little longer. I'm gonna throw our actually no, we're gonna use bigger onions. Those are minced onions or diced onions. I need sliced onions. So we're gonna test that out. I don't want too much liquid. So despite how much I want this flavor, actually no, I do want this flavor. I do want that flavor. I want that flavor. Let's let that sit on low. Let's see how our noodles are heating up. Texture's good. Don't want it to go too much longer, so we're going to pull up our noodles. Our strainer here. I'm going to go ahead and dump this thing. Just to the sides. We're going to, as soon as as soon as the onions start heating up, we're going to get things rolling. So with these onions. Almost 2 entire onions in here. But they're frozen, so because they're frozen, it's gonna take a little longer to cook. So we're gonna let that settle. So here we still have more onions. Some good old frozen onions come in so handy. Well, I might do some more. These onions are gonna shrink. That's the issue. So I'm gonna throw in some more here. Let's get stirring on these onions. Let me see if I can let you all see this a little better. So we just got these onions sauteing now, letting all the flavors from everything just kind of meld together. And once these onions get this like super high heat feeling, a little bit longer. One thing about using frozen onions, though, I think that's a problem, is that there's a lot of liquid content that comes off the onions, a lot of unnecessary liquid content. So I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll let this go. Let this all simmer in here for a while. Could be a little faster, but well, we're gonna let it be. We're gonna put our scallions in here now too, because if we don't, it's all gonna cook unevenly because the scallions are frozen too, which means they kind of got to get a few extra minutes of cooking compared to the rest. I'll let these flavors heat up. Cover that up for about a minute. Let me just check one more time what she pours into her dish, because it goes so fast. So let's see, cook the beef, onions, the noodles, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, MSG, veggies, toss the beef. And you toss it around, that's it. Okay, I think I got it. Hopefully we got it. I don't have hoisin sauce, so I'm going to use my own little ingredients to do this. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 26. All right, so we got our veggies going. Pretty good. Let's toss our noodles in here. Some fresh noodles. Get this. Come on, let's go, noodles. Let's get down there, noodles. I should have kept it in cold water or something. Just gonna pull the noodles off. Let those. Let this all mix together. The noodles collect some of the flavors here. This is what I forgot already. But I try to follow the right steps, but not necessarily all the perfect ingredients. So it does the noodles, stirs it up a little bit, and then the sauce. And then the rest of the veggies. Alright, that makes sense. So stir the noodles and then the sauce. And then we need some more oil. So I'm going to load this up with some more oil in here because it's getting a little bit too, oops, that's a lot. Throw in some soy sauce. Soy sauce. Some rice wine. A little bit of vinegar. Just a hint of vinegar, you know? I like vinegar. A little bit of vinegar. Splash. And let's stir it up. Throw our beef in there. There we go. Get our mushrooms. It's a huge pot of food right here. Mushrooms. And then some bean sprouts. Get these bean sprouts in there. Now let's stir this up. So this is where you have a huge, where you get a big, this is where you get a big pot for, you know, so you can cook an absurd amount of food. And make a mess without making a mess. Probably should have left the juices from our beef in here because that was really helpful actually in soaking up the flavors. It would have been really helpful to get the flavors from the beef and everything, but that's alright. We're gonna go till next time, you know? Let's actually add a bit more soy sauce. Or actually, you know what? Oyster sauce. Oyster sauce often does the trick here. Some dash of water powder. I want a little bit more brownness. Let's add a little bit more soy sauce. That all soak. Hey, Cat, dinner's ready. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let's. I'm gonna throw some on a plate and try it out. See how it goes. Got a nice, generous portion. I should try it out first before I start inviting people to come and eat it. Huh?
Did you yell that it's ready?
I did.
Okay.
Let me see.
Was it started using the air fryer?
No, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, so let's check this out. This is our beef with rice noodles. I might still need to cook it for a little longer. Actually, I haven't.
Oh.
I gotta smell it first. Try this out. How you doing, Kate?
So you're asking me about a strainer? Or a wider wrap or something?
Mm-hmm.
I can get for a second. Is it done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is good, people.
So you
All right.
need a wire wrap?
No, I don't need it anymore.
I don't think I ever have it.
It's good. Not too strong. Probably one of the best light flavors I've ever made. So, with that, we're gonna wrap up for the night.
Okay. There's some more? Oh,
But with that, hey everybody, nice being here. We're gonna eat. Kat and I are gonna eat, and we're ready to go. So everybody, thank you so much, and take care. That's our beef with noodles, rice noodles.
okay.
We will be back another time.
What's wrong with it? God.
Huh?
Bird got